I came across this quote recently that said, "The effect changes according to who is speaking. There is no statement without the person making it. There is no art without the artist." And it stopped me. I'd been scrolling through Instagram and I stumbled across this 45-second clip from a play called Nachtland. It was a short but powerful exchange between two characters debating whether it matters who says something or if we should only care what is being said. At first glance, it's tempting to say, well, the truth is the truth, no matter who says it or how they say it. But deep down, I wasn't so sure that was true. Because context matters, character matters, and the person who said it matters, or at least it kind of does. I started thinking about all the books that I have on my shelves. Stuff about leadership, business, psychology, history, and I realized I don't want to learn leadership from somebody who's only studied it. I want to learn from someone who's led, stumbled, gotten it wrong, and still showed up the next day. I want to learn business from people who've taken risk, not just in theory, but with their own money, with their own dreams. I want to learn history from people who actually lived it, or at the very least, from those who had the humility to listen to those who did. Who says it matters. We get information faster now than at any point in human history, but we often forget to ask, who is speaking? What's their lens? What's their bias? What have they lived? And here's what I've learned over time. Truth, real truth, becomes clearer if you hear the same truth echoed by people who come from very different backgrounds. Now, in my own life, I've been lucky enough to get the chance to regularly talk with a wide range of people. Different ages, different professions, faiths, perspectives. And sometimes I'll ask all of them the same question just to see what I get. Now, sometimes I get very different, wildly different answers. But other times, I'll hear almost the same thing, said in different ways, by people who have nothing else in common. And when that happens, that's where I find what I call the universal truth. Because when very different people see something the same way, it usually means they're onto something real. But what really stuck with me from this clip from the play Nachtland was a moment of gentle correction, where the one character challenges another, not by attacking him, not by personally insulting him, but by following his own logic better than he did. She doesn't shout, she doesn't humiliate, she simply follows his thought trail until it arrives at a contradiction. And you can feel the shift in the room. The audience gets it. He gets it. The logic collapses under its own weight. Not because she broke it, but because she held it up to the light. That is powerful communication. And yet, we've lost so much of this in our world today. We live in a time when people are more interested in being right than getting it right. We've lost the art of deep disagreement, of listening to someone we profoundly differ from, without needing to win or belittle. We cancel before we converse. We assume before we ask. We speak and forget to listen. But if we only ever learn from people who think exactly like us, we're not really learning. We're just echoing. Look, I get it. There are things in life that are black and white. Some truths are universal. And I'm not here to argue that 2 plus 2 doesn't equal 4. But most of the questions that matter in life, the real ones, they're more complex than that. Questions about how to lead, how to heal, how to parent, how to forgive, how to make meaning out of loss or failure or uncertainty. These questions don't have simple answers. They require us to sort through nuance and contradiction and complexity. And that's where who we listen to matters the most. For me, I've found that some of the best conversations I've ever had were with people I completely disagreed with, but we respected each other. We had some ground rules about our disagreements. We stayed curious, and we learned from one another. We've got to get better at that. Because the truth is, We need each other's perspectives to see the full picture. So let me leave you with this. Next time you hear something from someone and it challenges you, instead of asking, "Do I agree?" try asking, "Who's speaking? What have they lived? And what do they know that possibly I don't?" Because the truth, it often wears a face. And wisdom speaks in many voices. We just have to be willing to listen.